Well, welcome back to Created to Create. And this is a space where we explore what it means to use our creativity as an act of worship. Whether you're an artist, writer, musician, or simply someone who feels called to create. Today's episode is called Listening Before Creating, because one of the most powerful shifts that you can make as a creative is learning to slow down before you start. So let's anchor ourselves in today's scripture. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. John 15:5. So many of us have learnt to create under pressure, under deadlines, expectation, comparison, and the need to stay relevant. And over time, creativity can start to feel really heavy, even exhausting. But Jesus gives us a completely different model. He doesn't say work harder to produce fruit. He says remain in me. That word remain also means to abide, to stay connected and to rest in, which means that your creativity was never meant to come from pressure. It was meant to flow from relationship. So think about a branch connected to a vine. It doesn't force fruit, it doesn't strive and it doesn't panic. It simply stays connected and fruit grows naturally. In the same way, when you stay connected to God, your creativity becomes more natural, more life giving, and more authentic. So when you feel stuck creatively, it might not be a lack of talent, it just might be a lack of connection. And instead of pushing harder, God may be inviting you to pause and to come back to Him. So let's talk about prayer as part of the creative process, not as a ritual, but as a relationship. Prayer is where ideas begin to form, not just in your mind, but in your spirit. Because when you pray, you're not just talking to God, you're opening yourself up to receive from Him. So imagine starting your creative time like this: God, what do you want to express today? And what are you saying right now? And how can I reflect your heart through this piece? That simple shift changes everything, because now your creativity isn't just about your self expression, it becomes co creation with God. And sometimes prayer doesn't give you the full picture right away, but it does give you a small idea, a feeling, a word, or a direction. And that's enough, because God doesn't always reveal everything at once. He invites you to walk with Him step by step. And here's where many creatives struggle. We know how to speak, but we do not always know how to listen. We're surrounded by a noise of music, social media, and constant input, but God often speaks in the stillness, in the quiet moments, in those gentle expressions, and in subtle inspiration. So when you take time to listen before creating, your work begins to change. It becomes more intentional, more meaningful, and more spiritually grounded. So instead of creating something that just looks good, you create something that carries depth. Listening might look like sitting in silence for a few minutes, reading a scripture slowly, or journaling thoughts or impressions. Simply being still. And yes, sometimes it can feel uncomfortable at first. But that quiet space is where the clarity begins, because when you listen, you're not just pulling from your own ideas, you're drawing from a deeper source. So here's the encouragement I want to leave with you today. Not just create for God, but create with Him. He's not distant from your process. He's not waiting at the end to evaluate your work. He's right there with you, in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. He cares about what you are making, and he wants to guide you, and he wants to speak through you. You don't have to carry the pressure of creating on your own. When you stay connected with him, your creativity becomes an overflow, not a burden. And here's your challenge for this week. Before you create anything, just spend 10 minutes in silence with God. No distractions, no rush. Just sit, breathe, Pray if you want, but listen. And then begin creating from whatever comes out of that space. And it might feel different, slower, even unfamiliar, but stay with it because that's where deeper creativity begins. I just want to thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this podcast has encouraged you, share it with another creative who might need this reminder. And remember that you were created to create, but not alone. So stay connected, stay rooted, and let your creativity flow from intimacy with God.